Let's play a game. I'll be on that 60 frames per second. Hold that's B-roll. Got me going off like it needs a sequel. Witness my equal. Witness the only man with ultra ego.
Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for tuning into the In When You're Out podcast. As always, I'm your host, John, and today I'm back with Andreas, and he's going to talk to us about some of our favorite things, anime. Go ahead, Andreas.
Yo.
What do you got to say for us today?
Anime is the greatest thing of all time. Shout out to all creators.
Yeah, I love anime, honestly. And we were just saying a little bit before, I think it's good to have like a little bit of a conversation beforehand. But when we were in high school or when we were in middle school, we had certain likes that were definitely different. What are some of the things, Andreas, that you were proud of today that maybe 10 or 15 years ago in school you would have been less vocal about, say?
Definitely anime for sure.
Yeah, just like as a whole. You think?
Yeah, because back in the day, like, being frowned upon, and someone made a comment where it's like, oh, people weren't, ridiculed for anime. It was the copying of the anime. I was like, dogs, like, nah, anime just wasn't it. And
Back then, maybe, yeah. I mean, there was
we was like hiding in the closet.
Yes,
Like,
it was. It absolutely was. You're right. Yeah.
Like, to find somebody else, like, the only way you're gonna find somebody else unless you went to like what they call it, a club in like middle school and high school, and even then, like, a lot of kids didn't want to be involved because they didn't want to look like a nerd or look like a geek. So
Yeah, I got invited to an anime club when I was in high school, I think, and I was like, look, do not tell people that, one, even you know that I like anime, or two, that you invited me to, because, like, I might think it's cool, but I'm not doing what they're doing.
You must have had a cool school, because I never had that. I probably would have went. But I probably would
I
have
had a
like.
backwoods school, bro. I mean, like, we had... I don't want to talk about my school so much. We had some messed up stuff happen in my school. But
I'm sorry to hear
overall,
that.
we had we had a very diverse crowd. We had a pretty cringe school. Like, we had... Like, compared to today, and mind you, I'm not in school anymore. I'm 25 years old. I mean, yeah, I know that you're a bit older than me, so you certainly haven't been in a middle school or high school in some time. But when people wear, like, tails to school, that would not... I'm not going to say I wouldn't condone that. Like, I don't care. Like, I didn't really care in school. But that would not have flown. That would not fly back in the day. That's all I'm saying. Like, you wearing a tail to school, bro? No. Not on the cards for you.
I don't know what tailing is. Maybe that's something that beyond.
Yeah, well, it's like dressing up like a fox or like a animal or something.
Oh,
like the ears, and they wear like a fake tail on their jeans. Hey, man, you gotta know that if you like something obscure that people can, like, not understand, they're probably gonna pick on you for it. But just bear that in mind. I suppose if you're sending your kids to school in like a cat outfit or something, that they're probably gonna get picked on. But more importantly,
this generation now, it's not too bad. At least far as I can tell.
Yeah, I mean,
that type of stuff.
As far as bullying is concerned, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. What I want to talk about more is the very exciting possibility, or more like what will happen come May, which is what I've talked about on this podcast a couple times. But that's the Binghamton, whether it be an anime convention or a nerd con. We've talked about that a little bit. I've talked about it with plenty of other people. I did have some information actually I wanted to share with you on the podcast that might be interesting. But first, Andreas, would you like to be more involved in some of this? And if you don't want to, I could just cut this part out. But would you like to see yourself perhaps get to entertain at this convention coming up?
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I have to create something though, but
I mean, I like what you have so far. I mean, a lot of the stuff a lot of the stuff on your SoundCloud, I think would be pretty suitable, honestly.
I appreciate that. I think I should find or make a purposely animated track just for the fellow anime heads.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially with a lot of great anime now. Oh my god.
Some of your favorite anime. So I wanted to ask this question kind of in the beginning, but when you were in school, like, because it was more like a dime a dozen. You're absolutely right. Anime back in like the 2010s were certainly, it was harder to get good anime. I would say more animes, like almost most these days, are probably good or higher tier. But what are some of the best from like your eras? Like when you were a kid watching on like TV or like whatever access you had, like middle schooler, like teenager, and then what you enjoy now.
Back then, compared, damn, that's a good question. That's something I gotta really think about. Obviously, Dragon Ball Z was very top tier.
Oh yeah. Like One
Okay,
Piece.
so
Yeah.
I would say that I got into anime off of a show called Fist of the North Star.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first real intro to anime, as far as like getting me hooked and all. Like, yeah, shout out to Nami, for putting a lot of us on to anime.
Konami?
But that was like Toonami, yeah.
After Adult Swim. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Gundam Seed. Like I can't name them all, but
I mean, yeah, they're playing Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, they had Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, some other ones I'm sure as well. But absolutely great exposure to anime.
And then two animes that like altered my perception of life was Casher and Sins and Chaos Head.
Chaos Head. I don't think I've.
Chaos Head is not a popular anime.
Okay,
By any means, it's not. A lot of people will probably say it's trash, and that's fine.
Oh.
I liked the story, not the story. Towards the end, they actually elaborate, and this is now the nerd side of me speaking. But
Sure.
I find it so fascinating.
He wasn't here the whole time.
Huh?
I said he wasn't here the whole time. The nerd side of you speaking.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, now they're gonna hear me really talk.
Let's get it. It's all right.
So
I'm here for it.
Chaos said, they have mentioned that people have the ability to like alter whatever's in front of them.
Okay.
Like if you think it, that it is. So if a chair wants to be a table, a singular person has the ability to do so.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
However, because of over time genetics, if it's not trained, it becomes dormant. On top of the factor that people are fixated on what's already visually there, that it takes a lot more power to overshadow the power of other people to transform that chair to a table or anything that person wants to be. So unless everybody else believes the same belief, it will never be that thing.
I see how that could be like very powerful as well if you convince enough people to think one way.
Because my way of looking at it was like, oh, that's like telekinesis or being able to transfer mental thoughts to somebody else.
It's like alchemy. Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Full Metal Alchemist. Both that and Brotherhood.
I haven't fully dived into the world of Full Alchemist. I've seen a few episodes and I just haven't gone fully.
It's very good. It's very so basically.
I can't go backwards.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I can't. I know we're here, but I can't go backwards. And it's like.
So you see to like the child dog morphing scene, right? Like that much, you know the meme, right?
What's the meme? I'm sorry, I missed the meme.
All right, I'll spoil it. I mean, this is an old show. It's like over 20 years old. I mean, just anybody who's watching, if they don't understand so far. So Full Metal Alchemist was first a manga, and then it became an anime. Before the manga was finished, they finished that anime. So once the manga was finished, they did another anime, and that was called Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And that is like the more preferred. I like that one more, honestly, but they're both good. Anyway, they both have a very same chronology to a certain point, and up to that is basically there's a mad scientist who like morphs his dog and his daughter into the same thing, and like it's not necessarily shown, it's more like very subtly revealed in a very traumatic way. So it's just like the memes around it. They'll do like the pose that they have to do in Dragon Ball for Fusion. They'll do that. They'll do like the dog and the little girl, and it's like, yo, that is so messed up. It's definitely one of those scenes where it's like, oh, that's just not right. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody out there. It's also like episode like 5 or 6 or 7 or something. So, but yeah. I think you said chaos. What was it? Chaos. What was the other part of that?
Chaos Head.
Chaos Head. I wanted to say like Chaos Gem, but I know that's not true. So Chaos Head. So that was when you were more like younger, or that kind of got you into like anime as a teenager.
Yeah, I want to say like, I was 19, 20 during the time.
Oh, okay. So I should have asked like after like teenagers and like 20s and then
Yeah, I mean it's very old. It wasn't like that was one of those like I was like really scavenging for like new anime to watch.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones during that time, I think it was like Heaven's Angel or something like that. I can't remember the full name of it. It was
Wait, is that the one they're like it's like a guardian angel and the guy like constantly dies? Or is that a different one?
the Ingrid is talking about the same thing. She fell from heaven and like she can grant the guy whatever wish he wants, but he has to be careful because every wish have a consequence to it. Um, and like I think you're right, guy. I think he dies in like almost every episode and then gets like put back. I can't remember. Heaven's property. Heaven lost property. Heaven lost property. Heaven lost property. That's what it was.
Okay, I'll have to. I'll be looking all these up afterwards. I mean,
no, that's fine. It just took me a minute. I was like, what?
When I was like 16. Sorry to cut you off, but when I was 16, I got into like everything, like all sort. Like my favorite genre of anime is like psychological or like the any ones that have to make you think. So like I love Death Note. That's probably my all-time favorite is Death Note. But have you ever heard of Psychopaths?
No, Psychopaths. I'm thinking about Mom 101. I think I might have seen clips. Yeah, I think I might have seen clips.
Psychopaths. I also really like animation. That's a big thing. We'll get into that in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail. But just as well, it was very interesting. Basically, it's like in a future setting where they have this type of technology that can see if somebody's about to, or even if they're thinking of committing a crime. There's like a certain thing they can sense on you. So they arrest people before they even commit crime. So it kind of creates this idea of like, the people that are pursuing crimes that are basically like the police officers, they can only get so close to them because if they like, one false step, and then if they become like a criminal or they like, get assumed that they'll commit a crime, they can't become a police officer anymore. So it's really, I'm not going to spoil it because the ending is a really like mindfuck ending. But it's really, really good. It kind of, like the second season, I think it like starts off like it kind of redoes like the first episode, but with like all the characters in their current state. The character that like had gone through a lot is like at the end of his journey now, in like the same position, kind of. It's interesting, but a lot of the ones that I liked were, if they're also kind of like psychological, they had to make up with that in the animation department by being very gory, and that was something that I was kind of like, anime gory is too much sometimes. Not like always. Like I'm down for some, but sometimes it's too much.
Are you to like? Because I know you said. I don't want to misquote. What anime you was referring to that you said you liked? The Gothy Psychopath. Nah, not that one. That was called. But so you would be into not an interesting. You would be into like Tokyo Ghoul.
I love Tokyo Ghoul, bro. I loved it. I loved it.
Oh, Death Note was okay. So yeah, you'd be in Tokyo Ghoul, Death Note. What's the one that I did enjoy, but I actually hate the ending? Platinum Zen.
Platinum Zen. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, that for the type of anime you like, you would enjoy.
All right.
I would just say I would never recommend. I can't. Okay, so anybody who's listening to this, I can't recommend that anime to anyone because the ending ruins the entire.
Oh, is it one of those, man?
It ruins the entire from beginning to like towards the end, like the story, the way it's built up, all the psyche, all the like possibility. It's good, and then the ending just it takes away the entire like. There is an anime that realized like the community doesn't talk about no more, and for good reason. So I won't bring it up, but I'm sure we all know. We all know what anime that is. I should never have released a second season because they ruined the second season. I'm sure we all know which one that is. So I won't mention it because because you don't know what anime I'm talking about.
Whoa! Which one? I thought you were talking about that one that you were referring to, Platinum Zen.
Oh no, that one only has one season. The ending for that one is terrible. I think it's one season or like 1 2. The ending of it.
Online? What are you talking about? I like.
Okay, Sword. Sword that's really good. I kind of still fight people when they say it's bad now.
Man, whatever.
It got some. it got a really good, thoughtful story to it. So I don't want to like bash it.
You know what I will
But
say?
I'm not gonna say it. Go ahead.
I can tell you've been fighting many of people over the Sword Art Online. I'll say this:
Too much fighting.
anybody who's seen it, I mean, we're just gonna any of the anime that we speak about. You know, if we're spoiling the slightest portion, you know, maybe that'll enhance it for the people. This is like a 10-year-old or 15-year-old anime at this point, so whatever. But
okay.
With Sword Art Online, I really liked the first part, and then I liked the Gun Gale Online. I didn't love the fantasy part, but it wasn't because of any like, you know, problems I had with like the story. It was just like a genre thing. It was like, oh, you know, fantasy after like expecting those two things, not the direction I thought. But I liked it a lot. The characters were really good. I think they did a good job with the story, and I think the vision they had from like the start to finish was still maintained, even though it was a little bit like kind of recycling like the same thing. Oh, we have to go back into the game again. Like, yeah, that's just like a really tropey thing that I feel like a lot of shows do. So it's not like I'm going to fault them for that. And I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, you know, there's no more content if they're not in the game anymore. It's like, yeah, that's true. So you got to do something. So, you know, I think it's a good show. One of my friends, actually, super, like, big weeb. Like, the type to have the body pillows and stuff. But he was, he really liked Sword Art Online. He was actually somebody who wore, like, this on his bag at school. He had this like thing on his bag. I was like, bro, you got some balls, like wearing that around, because you know people might not know what it is, but still, that's the type of I guess that's the type of what's the word I'm looking for, like idea that people had for it. I guess stigma's the idea, the word I was looking for.
Okay.
But yeah, I like Sword Art Online. Yeah, while I was younger, I asked you a question, and we got a good enough answer, so I felt like I kind of wanted to keep going from there. But
yeah, fine, we can go.
If I were to ask myself the same question, like the anime, like throughout the terms of my life, while I was a kid, I remember seeing Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball Z and One Piece,
I don't know,
like on TV, like new episode this Saturday morning. Like that's what I'm talking about right there. Like,
hold on, wait, before you keep going. Yeah, I don't know if I can say Yu-Gi-Oh was an anime.
I mean
that's like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon. I'm like, I can see why somebody would say it's an anime, but
it's just in the to me, yeah, that's fair.
It leans a lot towards, and I'm going to get people upset from this episode.
I think
One Piece is.
Yeah.
One Piece don't hit. It don't hit.
Ooh.
One Piece don't hit.
Yikes.
It don't hit.
Be careful.
Hit.
Yikes. Okay.
It don't hit.
Damn.
One Piece do not hit.
I gotta watch it. That's the thing. I mean, like when I was younger and when it was coming out on TV, like, I didn't even know it that well to be like, oh, my favorite show's on. It was just like, that's the Gum Gum guy. That's what I call it. It was the Gum Gum guy. I didn't know his name was even Luffy, at that point. But I used to have a friend who was into it, and he was like, yeah, bro, I watched it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, huh? 3 or 4? There's like over 1,000 episodes. He goes, oh, yeah, they need to make more. Yo, that's crazy. That's a lifestyle. That's not an anime. That's a lifestyle.
We can stem a couple of things off of this, because I'm like, there's a few animes right now that I'm like, all right, I need those animes, because of how it's orchestrated right now, to have 1,000+ episodes.
Yeah,
I think there's a few that are capable of it. Not to say they will go that far, but they have a capability, and I'm like, I would like for them to be up there, because we don't have any of those.
What's a show for you that ended way too soon? Way too soon. Well, how about this? Before you answer that, what's a show that ended way too soon? And then what's a show that had, besides One Piece or like Dragon Ball or Naruto, that has gone on way too far?
Way too far.
I don't know if I have an answer for the first part. I definitely have an answer for the second part.
Oh, what's your answer? What I think of that's gone too far. Because there's a lot. Because there's a lot of anime currently the last couple of years that like should never have a season 2. I just can't name them all, or I can't be specific. But there's a couple that's like, bro, like you kind of dragged this one out. You should have conclude this properly and let this slide. Well, and see, now I have another question, because this is the question I've always wanted to ask the community itself.
Yes,
I'll wait.
Before
I answer that question, an anime that you said, what was the first question again?
What's an anime that ended too soon, and then what's an anime that had drawn on for too long?
It's a few that ended too soon. That definitely should have gave us another season. Uh, this is not going to be on the radar for a lot of people, but I believe Dragon Maid should have had another season.
Is that the one with the? Is it literally like a girl who's a dragon? She's a maid.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not.
I'm gonna needs another season.
That's what I'm talking about.
That needs another season. What's the? And there's a few more that's like similar in that field. It's like, all right, yeah. Kind of need another season. Like this is really good.
I'll follow up with a really obscure one that needs more seasons, but might not ever. It's the first anime I ever watched that was like, I'm gonna sit down and actually like watch anime. It's not just like on TV or something.
Oh, and before you say that, real fast, I want to say that Punchline was supposed to have another season, and I was looking forward to that. It never existed. But go ahead.
Is that the Punchline? What is that one?
The boy ends up getting powers, and and he's in an apartment with girls in it, but he didn't realize his body was switched out with somebody else, so he was a ghost the entire time, and he was trying to help the people in the apartment.
Wait, is that the one they have like yellow hair, orange hair, and blue hair, or is that like red or something? And they like switch bodies or something?
If you're talking about towards the end, then yes.
Okay, it is that. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the one that's like Orange Juice Man or something. He's like a superhero.
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, I like that one. Yeah, that's one. That's not that. I mean, maybe it's pretty obscure. Okay.
You're talking about obscure. I can talk about the drama shows I like.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm a huge I don't know why I can't do reality drama,
but you can do
anime drama.
Yeah.
I'm so hooked. I'm like, what's gonna happen next? Like, is he gonna fall in love? Is she gonna? Yo, I go into a frenzy. It's so terrible. But no, I didn't really. You was gonna say something, so I don't want to cut you off. I didn't cut you off. I want to say
my anime that I think ended too soon.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say for that? Which one ended too soon? Oh, for Black Bullet. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
I've heard it. I haven't.
So it's got a trope that I absolutely hate in anime, which is the male protagonist with like the little girl sidekick. I just don't like it. I think it can get super weird sometimes, but they did it in a really good way. So like basically, imagine this: the world is like apocalyptic, and they see that there's these monsters that can only be kept at bay with like this certain metal. So they have it, and that's like the black of the black bullet. So they use the bullets made out of that metal. So basically, they have to like fight these monsters and whatnot, and there's like bounty hunters that are like specifically, and it's still like early on, so they don't really know how to handle it. So it's actually kind of dark at sometimes, like the school that they set up for these girls that were like radiated by some like first impact or something like that, and so they got like these powers or whatever. They're like super fast or whatever. So the thing that I really liked about it is that it had a good story, because like the last like few episodes you find out that the guy who's the main character is actually, spoilers for like a 13-year-old anime, but whatever. It sucks to suck if you haven't seen it by now. It's not getting a season 2. Whatever, but anyway. So he's actually like a robot, or, partly he's like a cyborg. So he's made out of the black metal. So the whole time he's realizing, he's like, oh, I'm a superstar. I don't know why I'm doing so good against these monsters. But then you find out he's got like a really good backstory, and it's because he's like, made out of the actual metal that keeps him at bay. So that's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And, then I turned like 25 like a month ago and realized, yeah, they're still not coming out with more of that one. So, but for the one that went on for way too long, I mean, besides like the big ones like I love Dragon Ball, so I can't like keep making Dragon Ball. I got no problem with that. One Piece I haven't watched it, so I can't say like necessarily like where to, what I should say is like too much or too little. Oh damn it! What was it? What do they need to stop making? Oh shit! I can't think of the top of my head. Yeah, outside of like the big ones, I would say like I don't really like Naruto. So if they could stop making Naruto, I'll be cool. Yeah. I think it's annoying at this point, because like when I was growing up, I would see it and it was like cool and it had like dark moments. But now it's like kiddie bullshit, like side quest year after year.
The manga is doing really well. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I
The
know for
manga's
like
pretty
the
nice.
fan base, like the as far as like popularity is going, and maybe I'm just
So I
hating.
get.
Maybe I'm just hating. But
Oh yeah, because
do I have
I'm
a better
purposely hating
answer?
on One Piece.
Yeah, I think One
Like
Piece is maybe the
I
only real
purposely hating.
answer. Yeah. What do you
I'm just
think?
purposely hating.
What do you think?
About One Piece or Naruto?
No, about an anime that has gone on for too long.
Anime has gone on for too long. My thing is like with Dragon Ball Z, I do want Dragon Ball Z to end. Like,
Yeah,
they,
I can say it could use like, I mean, they have all these different iterations, so they could just do it.
but that's my question. I was going to say earlier that I want to say to the community is like, okay, what is the greatest anime of all time that actually ended? That doesn't have a cliffhanger. That doesn't have we're supposed to have a season 2, but things like an actual anime that ended.
Yeah.
What is the greatest of all time? And right now, it would be Attack on Titans, but Attack on Titans is trash, so I don't want to even really put in the category.
I really liked Attack on Titan. I don't know about you.
Terrible.
What? Do you think the ending was bad or?
The entirety. The only thing that was good about it is the animation.
Whoa, wait! You didn't even like the foreshadowing, like bro, like foreshadowing 100 out of 10.
Terrible.
Yo, what? You
Terrible.
can't. There's
Terrible.
Yeah, just the artistic
Terrible.
value, at least at the very least. You have to. Damn.
The animation is still dope, but
I know the animation.
everything
was
else
great.
about it was terrible.
Can I say this? I had watched up to like season 2, and then they went on hiatus forever, and then I never got back into it, and then they had the series finale, and then I was like, maybe I'll watch it, and a year later I did. It was never spoiled for me, and I was so happy because the ending was just like something I could never see. I didn't even know. Once again, we're gonna. If you came into today's episode expecting not to have every single anime that we were talking about be spoiled for you, tough. It's happening. Obviously, at the end of Attack on Titan, when the Titans break down the wall and the rumbling starts, and 80% of humanity gets crushed underneath steamy giant feet. That is an incredible story device because you never understand that, until like the very end, that the walls are made out of Titans, that they can be controlled by these specific people, what the intention of like the, even being on the island is, and then the hatred, the unbridled hatred of I'm going to indiscriminately genocide an entire, basically the rest of the world that is not my friends. Like, that's terrible, but the story device in that. I think there's a lot to be said for the originality part as well. Because a lot of times in, like, the ending of superfluous shows, it'll be like, and everybody died except for only a few people. And that's kind of like a trope I can enjoy sometimes. But the way that they did it was like, there's never been a show that was literally like, giants popped out of a wall and trampled everybody to death. Like, that's just not, it's very uncommon. So I can respect that. I will now hear every criticism you have about the show.
Let's start with the fight scenes are not fights, it's street brawls that look like fights. Let's start off with that. It's so terrible. And then I watched the entire season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I end up skipping 2 and 3. Watch season 4.
Why?
And I understood everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
the story.
I'm not gonna say it's impossible to follow doing that, but
the story was completely dragged out. And then on top of it, how do you have 3 different season finales of the show that was split amongst years apart? Like, come on, who's doing that?
What, making the anime wise? Because that was like, I think they had.
Yeah, it was finale part 1, finale part 2, finale part 3.
Valid. I would say
it
valid.
Like 2-3 years apart. I'm like, what?
No, what
are we doing?
That's whole ass valid. Yeah.
And then when the ending did drop, it wasn't nothing like spectacular. Like, it's just
kind
of like, oh yeah,
it's not like a surprise. Ooh, everybody lived that was supposed to. Wow, But it's about, if you really appreciate the story, then you can get into it.
Well, maybe even worse. And they're supposed to be coming out with another movie about the ending again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for that, that's like I'm not.
We're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
Yeah,
we're done. It's trash.
But let me ask you then. What were some of the parts that you could say, because whether you've seen
it,
whether that were like actually, because I'll give criticisms as well, because I actually really liked Attack on Titan, but I will tell you some criticisms I have as well, only to be fair.
I'll tell you about it.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah. So what were some things that you did actually, if you liked anything about it? I'm not gonna force you.
Levi first fight scene.
Okay,
the most epic, it was really good.
Yeah, Levi, I'm
like, okay, this is dope.
Definitely carried.
You never see that again.
You never see that again. Fair enough, yeah.
Nowhere in the anime you see that again. That was one of the best fight scenes out of the best fight scenes out of Attack on Titan. You'll never see that again.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The transformations towards the end, that was dope. Seeing the Colossal Titan was dope.
Yeah, cool stuff. And it's like shock and awe. You know, obviously, all the big guys, the fight, and it's all cool. It's just cool because it's giant things fighting,
The sentimental moment when, I forgot her name, but when she had when she had died from Gabby's shot.
Oh, Meat Girl? Sasha?
Yeah, that was a moment. I was like, damn, I could.
Aaron,
if I was riding this wave,
laughing, and you're like, I think that was a very pivotal. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's all I can give you about what's
That's good. Fair. That's totally fair. I asked an expert opinions. I asked for the opinion of an expert today, and this is what I received.
Expert? I'm not one. Please don't, because if you ask me to recite the names of characters, I am bad at that.
Man, that's too much. If you
I am bad.
If you can, you can. But if you're like, for me, like I really love music, and I like a lot of my old friends, bro. I'd be like, they'd be like, oh man, you're listening to whoever, and I'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, oh dude, never the same since this person left, and I'm like, don't even at me with that. Don't even try. Don't even start a conversation like you and I both know this person first name, last name basis. Absolutely not. This is a character that you saw online that plays in a band, but apparently not anymore. Anyway, getting off topic here. One of the things I didn't like about Attack on Titan, and maybe I'll get flamed in the comments more than you for this, but the drama. The scenes that are just like the oh my god, like just too much. Stopping.
I told you it was dragged out.
Like I can enjoy it, but if it's like if the battle's going on like a mid swing and then it's got to cut to every character going Eren, oh my god, Eren. Somebody's sipping tea. Oh, Eren. Oh, somebody's wiping their ass. Oh, Eren. Too much. At that point, you gotta just be like, all right, show the shot. He smacks the shit out of him, boom, and smacks him with a backhand. Now they're fighting. Don't cut to this like every character's involved in this fight. Don't forget, guys. It's like I've been here this whole episode. Like I know what's going. I understand the stakes. Unless you're gonna cut to like whatever your hiatus for like 2 years or a year, then I can understand the necessary drama. But my biggest critique of like a lot of anime as well is sometimes the overuse of drama. Maybe that's like a cultural thing, but moreover, I would say it's just an Attack on Titan thing. But I will say
there's some anime that do the extra gasping moments. I'm like, bro, just fight. Yeah. Just swing. Like, I don't need this in between cuts. I don't need this. Oh my god.
I got a great question for you before we go into more of the specifics about Binghamton Anime Convention, which I think that'll honestly be what it's called, like the Binghamton NerdCon or Binghamton Anime Convention. But I'll probably ask you this again at some point. What are some of the best fight scenes? Like, give me maybe you have like a top 3, maybe like a top 5, maybe like a top 10.
Best fight scenes.
Like
all.
I'll give you one to start. It's in a top 10 for me. And these aren't ranked.
I'm listening.
But in my top 10, I have Genos versus Saitama. The first training scene, that shit went hard.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm not gonna sit here and say.
I like
it. From what we get now, it's like that's like bottom 50. Like
bottom 50. Okay, I have.
From what we get now, from what we get now, it's like bottom 50. That's all. Like, oof. I remember you talking about it's. That
I do like that. I mean,
it's still good though.
One Punch Man, whenever Saitama like actually tries, it's got some good fight scenes. I'll say. What's a
great fight scenes?
I'll tell you a great fight scene that got snubbed is Tokyo Ghoul. We want to talk about that?
I'm not. You have it because I'm not much of a that anime side. Death Note, Tokyo Ghoul, all that.
Yeah.
I can't get into it.
Oh, no, really?
It's just not fully.
I mean, that's fair. If you don't like Tokyo Ghoul, that's fair. It's a lot of gore and cannibalism. Like, if you're not into that, I'm not into that.
I'm just like,
yeah.
I just don't see the overall appeal. Like, I'm not saying like it's not a good anime by any source. I just personally don't see the appeal for me to dive into it.
Sometimes the appeal
That's
literally
all.
is just like the gore. Like people just like that. They like seeing anime people get ripped up. And that's some people, that's why they liked Attack on Titan. You get to see people get eaten alive, and that satisfies some weirdness in them, maybe. But
I mean,
but with Tokyo Ghoul, I had a buddy who was really into it, loved it, like obsessed to a certain degree, right? Maybe I'll say obsessed, because he did make some of our art projects in school, like a Tokyo Ghoul mask, which was cool, it was badass, but at the end of the day, it was still like, Anyway, so he had been all caught up in the manga, and so when they had the fight scene in the end of season 2, where it was supposed to be like the one enforcer against, what's the main character's name? I don't remember at this time. But the main character, at that time he had pure white hair, and they were supposed to battle, and that was like the biggest battle in the manga at that point so far. And instead it was just like, okay, season 3 starts in 2 years, and they're like, whoa. And like the end of that episode, they showed like a year in the future, and people were, dude, my friend would not shut up about it for like a month. Every day at school, because we were in like soccer together and all that. So whenever we had a chance, bro, he would just be like, and I can't believe they ended it like that. It's like, dude, just... It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. I know it's not okay. But he would get like.
It's not okay.
But if he's listening out there, he knows. He probably knows at this point that he was too crazy about it, but reasonable at the time. Honestly, if you love something and they snub it like that, like apparently that fight scene was pretty good in the manga. So.
My Hero Academia got snubbed so hard.
Oh really?
Like, and it's sad because some people argue like, but the fight scenes from the last season, they were good. I'm like, yeah, they were good, but like the season prior with Matt, I believe his name Maximilian,
yeah,
the one that goes through walls and
I haven't seen
non-physical
it ever. I know what it is, but I'm not
They did what they did for Blue Lock, which oh my god, I kind of wish they didn't do that for Blue Lock.
Is Blue Lock for her, or is that Blue Exorcist? I'm thinking of Blue Exorcist. Never mind.
Yeah, with the slideshow, I don't know why they gave this man a slideshow fight scene.
Oh, that
was
so
the most disrespect, and it was his moment. And I was like, bro, and then you gave all the animation to Deku for one punch.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a fight. It was a punch. I was like, damn, because I ain't gonna lie. That was like, at first, it was like, damn, we never seen this level of animation before. But for all that, for a punch is crazy detail.
And he missed. He missed.
No, he hit. You're running. He hit, but it was like, that's such a waste because you only get 2 seconds of it. Like, if anything, give me a good 30 seconds of like Deku fighting with that animation. I would have been fine with that. Just they dropped the ball so heavy.
So when you evaluate anime, then you think of like, what are your top 3 things? Is it like, I know I'm asking you a ton of questions.
My current top 3?
Yeah, is it for not just for any anime, but like what makes a good anime for you? Is it like stories number 1, animations number 2, and then like you love them big titties, you love that fan service is number 3 for you?
I'm dying. I'm dying. No, I ain't gonna lie, my Slice for Life anime.
You like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, let me stop. The things that I like a lot about anime, animation is I would definitely say number 3. Like I can kind of care less for it if the story is good. The story has to drive me, but story for me is like number 2 on the list. What really gets me is like the intellect of the anime. Like, what's the logic? Is it relatable? What's the inspiration? What's the motive? Like, those things, when they have, one anime that I enjoy, The Journey of Farron, I don't want to say that properly. Farron.
Sure.
I'm sure everybody, that knows I'm listening. One of the things that they mentioned that I took away from that was, like, the guy left before like the village could say goodbye, and then the elf was like, "Why'd you leave before saying goodbye to anybody?" And he was like, "We don't need to have ugly goodbyes. We know we'll see them again." And I was like, "Damn, that kind of hit.
That's kinda cool.
Why do I want to see somebody crying in my face as if I'm never coming back? Like, nah,
Damn,
I know I'm coming back.
okay.
Just go ahead. I was like, yeah.
You changed your whole life after that. You're like, yeah,
I was like, okay, so
that
I
shit
can leave.
hard. That shit hard.
Yeah, I said I'll leave it tomorrow, but I left tonight. I said I'll be back. I don't need to have the ugly crying, the ugly sobbing, the grabbing my shirt, and then my whole shirt's wet. Nah, I don't need that. I don't need to see you teared up. This is my last time I ever see you. No, we already said we're gonna see each other again. Let's not go through that.
So
let's just go.
What word could you say that is like realness? I like intellect. I think that's a good way to put it. Or
I do like intellect. Something and that's the one thing about sword art, which I highly defend.
Yeah.
Mine's the animation, mine's the story, the intellect behind it. The top two for me was how the advancement of technology grew to a point where it's okay, they made artificial soul-like humans in computers, and then try to transfer that to real life to make artificial actual humans to act like real. I was like, that's crazy thought process.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think Tron isn't that kind of. I mean, that's not an anime, obviously, but I think
Disney.
Yeah, kind of like that. Well, I mean, way back in the day, it was just Tron. It was just, it was cringe as hell. Actually, what it was in the 80s or whatever it is. If you ever saw the original Tron, bro, it's bad. It's good, but it's that type of bad. It doesn't hold up to these. Sorry if I'm trash. We're just going through every fandom. Not gonna never do it bro.
I would definitely say Tron for me. I didn't experience the movies or shows like that. The only thing I'm aware about Tron, obviously, the motorcycle scenes.
And that's cool, but the animation. And that's I kind of.
Kingdom Hearts was the only thing for me that got me to oh my god, Tron's in Kingdom Hearts. But other than that, I was never into it.
I'm the type of person where if something is old and it's still good, that means that it holds up. So I can compare it to things nowadays, and maybe it's not as good, and animation department's not as good, or story's a little different because nuances have changed or whatever. But if something is even in the conversation, in the discussion for comparing something from 40 years ago to something from 5 or this modern age, I think that says a lot, just at the very least that you include the discussion with, if you're talking about something from the 80s or 70s. So you can't, I'm not going to say you can't, you can do whatever you want, man. Anybody can do whatever they want. But I wouldn't say that it'd be as easy to be able to just easily compare them and say, yeah, obviously this is so much worse because the animation isn't as good or whatever else. I haven't seen all of Evangelion except for the ending. I've seen everything else, but the animation, it's pretty good. But I would say the animation is top tier of its time because I think it was the early 2000s or maybe the late 90s where that style of animation, that just golden age of just the last time they were drawing cells and having animation by hand was just beautiful. And I think they did a really great job. I don't know if you've seen Evangelion either.
No.
Oh no? Okay, well, basically it's giant robots fighting, but they do really good. There's these monsters that come from heaven, and it's a whole thing. But they do a really good job. It's similar, if you ever seen Akira, that's a similar art style. And so
I think I might have. I'm bad with titles.
Akira is the one. He's the motorcycle biker. He's the.
Oh yeah. I didn't see.
Yeah, flesh
monster.
I
didn't see that. Okay, so because remember, all right, when I got into anime, there's only but so I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of animes, but I only got so far into the anime space when I was younger.
Yeah.
It was more so when I got to college that I really dived into the space, but even then it was teeter-totter.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. There's gonna be a ton. There's gonna be a ton that overlaps, and plenty more that doesn't, and then just as much as that we both don't know. But that's kind of the fun of all this, is that, I draw from a certain area of where I make my understanding or perception of what I like in anime, and you do the same thing, but we just have different baskets to pull from.
Yeah,
that's kind of the fun of it. So I guess that's kind of a good point to change in conversation for a second. We could talk more about the specifics of what we can include into the Binghamton Anime Convention. I think we're going to go from just there. I say that it's like a nerd convention. We're just going to have so much that I don't want it to be restricted to a title and thinking that that's all that belongs there, basically. So some of the things I've said already, I think I'd actually sent you a text. I'm not going to read it right now. I'm just going to try to go off the top of my head. But If anybody's listening and they'd like to be a part of this, or they would like to have their memorabilia at our convention, or they just want to have a stand or a booth in any in any way, if you have, say, like manga or comic books or bobbleheads or keychains or any type of art, if you want to do like, we'll have some food vendors for sure. If you want to do like outfits, if you want to do cosplay material, if you want to do really like specific things, it could be like Funko Pops or I don't know, anything, absolutely anything. If you think that you would have some type of or that people there might like what you have, absolutely reach out. If you can comment on this video, and at some point we'll have other opportunities for people to reach out to us as well. Do you have any ideas specifically for something that I've left out that you would absolutely love to see there, Andreas?
Sorry, no, I don't. I don't know what to expect for this. Like, I would like to just see a community of people just come together just because of anime and be like, oh my god, like you guys watch this, you know about this,
Yeah.
like. Okay, so one thing I kind of held back on our topic, and I'm sure you haven't seen it, but if I could find like a person that's watched, I'm afraid to say this out loud, but I'm afraid to say this out loud, but because I'm talking about slice of life, there's a particular anime that I geek on because I'm like, bruh, I need to know what. Okay, the anime is called Rent a Girlfriend.
I think I've heard of it.
It's not.
Go easy. I'm not going crazy yet.
It's not, but I'm so invested. I'm like, he has like 4 or 5 girls that like want him per se in different ways. And he's only really wanting one girl out the entirety of all these girls, but he never had the balls to like legit say it.
Standard harem anime, yeah.
It's a twist to it because I don't want to go too deep. I'm trying to hold back. I'm holding back. I know. Like his ex-girlfriend, like if his ex-girlfriend sees him with another girl, she gets jealous, even though she doesn't want him to be together
she just doesn't want him to be
with other people. He wants to be. No, she wants him to be miserable. Like, don't have nobody. You're not for nobody.
Ex-girlfriend like that. Shit.
And then he has a girl that technically is his girlfriend, but like though he does like her a lot, he likes the rental girlfriend. But then like he made it clear that he's not like in love with the rental girlfriend, though he's doing all these things for the rental girlfriend, and the rental girlfriend actually starts falling for him. But like because she believes in his words so much, he's like, nah, there's no way he could have. It just goes into this like, you're like, what's gonna happen? Because the ex-girlfriend caught the rental girlfriend stuff at the spot, and a lot of people that is there, they're like, oh, they didn't even know like a rental girlfriend job is even a thing. So he's trying to hide all this information from all his friends and whatnot. It's crazy. It's just like I'm just waiting for the ex-girlfriend to like expose the whole situation. So like he can actually be
like they're happy and like they're falling for each other. They just don't know it.
Like, well, no, because the ex-girlfriend is like, oh, you say you're a rental girlfriend. Well, I don't ever want you around him ever again. If I catch you again, I'm gonna expose your job. Because she's trying to keep it, because she's keeping it under wraps that she's a rental girlfriend.
It is spicy. I'm gonna be watching.
So she keeps it on the wraps. It's a rental girlfriend because her real job, she's using that money to fund her acting career. But
of course, she's a poet at heart or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the guy that's renting the girlfriend, he's been like directing her movie because her grandma is on the verge of dying.
It's deep then, okay.
I'm like, yo, like, and now I almost wanted too much if somebody ended up watching it, but like, I'm at the point now. I'm like, bruh, because now the quote unquote girlfriend, the real one,
I got you.
They end up actually making out behind the curtains, and the reason why this is spicy because they actually made out at the rental girlfriend's house, grandma's house, during the time they all got invited. And I was like, wait. So this is so much layers. It's like nobody knows about others' situations. And then he's like, I'm trying just to talk to the rental girlfriend. But all these other situations pop up because all these other girls are cute and want me, but like I really want her, but I can't express that because he's afraid that it won't be reciprocated the same way.
What a
And it's
problem
like,
to have.
and I was like, oh, like just say it, bro.
I feel that shit though. I
Just
feel
say
that.
it. Like she wanted to say yes to all these things to doing it with you, and she didn't want to. But y'all keep covering it up. It's a rental job, and it's like, oh my
So
god.
it is one of those shows like you're about to get into the shower, it's playing, you're like, damn, all right, let me get in the shower. And then you're sitting down naked as hell watching this anime, being like, oh my gosh. Like, wait,
It
I got
won't
the
catch
shower
you.
going and everything. It's been a half
It
hour.
won't catch you like that off the rip. But like, I'm so invested. I'm like, yo, I just want to know because at first I thought the last season was gonna be the season where a lot of exposure was going to happen. But the
Yeah.
last season actually added to the amount of exposure that's supposed to happen.
Of
And it's like,
course,
bro, like
but
this
you gotta
little.
be careful now. If you get too invested and they keep doing that, they'll never end it, and they'll end it on the same shit, and everything will be
Plus,
boiling
that's
up to
the
this point, and
thing.
they'll be like, season 5
I'm,
is canceled.
that's what I'm saying. Like right now, I'm where the last season left off at. I can't see them adding any more BS. Like the next season has to be the last season. I
Yeah.
need to know how the girlfriend exposes. I need to know is the rental even gonna ever confess. I need to know if the girl next door is gonna actually put these two together,
What would be
or
the
if she's
worst
gonna
ending for you? What would be the
the
worst? How do they
worst
ruin those?
ending.
What if it's like
The
a
worst
surprise
ending.
seventh girl comes out of the woodworks and whisks them away? Would that be like the worst?
Nah, now there's too much buildup. There's way too much buildup between these two particularly. Nah, that's like what's a good anime to show the representation of what you're trying to describe? That's like what's an anime that you watch currently? I think it'd be
Right
a better
now, I
question.
am not watching anything because I finished. Actually, what did I start by? I started Code Geass and I got pretty far, but it does get a little bit slow, so I kind of stopped, and I guess that's what I'm watching now.
Yeah,
For
I
the
haven't
first
watched
time.
Code Geass.
I like it because I like like the ones that make you think. It's a little. It's like for me, it's close to Death Note, but it's kind of a little
That's why.
different.
That's why I haven't watched it. I'm like,
Yeah, I like Death Note a lot more.
yeah,
I mean, Death Note's my
yeah.
number one. Like, if anybody's ever like, "Yo, what kind of anime should I watch?" I'm like, "Yo, watch Death Note. Like, just watch it. Like, it's kind of I can't say it's always difficult to follow. Code Geass, not Death Note can sometimes be hard to follow.
All right.
But
So
for
like,
yeah,
Attack on Titans.
yeah,
That's like saying, what's his name? Wow, Aaron.
yeah,
Where everybody knew he liked that one girl that
Mikusa,
she survived.
yeah,
The one that survived at the end. Yeah,
yep,
everybody knew he likes her,
yes,
right? But then that's like saying, oh, he decided to like not date Gabby because obviously Gabby's a split version of Aaron, but
yeah,
but like him to just randomly like get swooped away by another chick, and it's like what? How do you
yeah.
get so far deep in the anime knowing that this character we can clearly see the love connection, it just it hasn't hit yet, or
So
like
what?
Naruto
Yeah.
and Sakura actually kicking it off? Like, come on.
What is the worst ending ever for you? What's the worst anime
Worst
ending?
ending ever?
Two part actually. What's the saddest that you thought was also bad? Because sometimes it's just like, oh, that was sad and it's not a good ending, but it's not like a bad ending because it wasn't sad, or sorry, it wasn't a bad ending because of like the story. It was just sad, and so for me, for an example, like, have you seen Agami Got Kill? Have you seen that anime?
Yes.
At
That
the
was
end,
great.
it's great.
That was
Everybody
great.
dies.
That was
They all
great.
die.
Yeah, I know. That was
Sad as
great.
hell.
That was a plot twist I was not
Yeah.
expecting at
I
all.
mean,
I was like, yeah.
yeah, but the show is called Agami Got Killed, and the main character's name is not Agame, so it's interesting.
You know the funny thing is, I didn't put that together.
Really? It's
I
called
was
Agami
just
Got Killed,
watching.
which literally just
I
means
was just
like
watching.
it just means like she's killing. Like Agami Got Killed, it's like her versus killing or something. Her versus kill. So yeah, and the end of the. But that's the thing. Like, I thought it was a very sad ending, and I didn't love the ending, but I didn't think it was bad. A bad ending would be like, what's the show? I gotta remember it quick. They can see the future, but like everybody has a phone that does like a certain thing. And there's like a tsundere girl, which is like a really crazy girl. I forget what it's called. Future Diary. Have you ever seen Future Diary?
I think I had it on my watch list at one point, but I never watched it though.
It's good. I think it's a bit older now, maybe like 15 or so years. So I mean, I would like to say, oh, it
That's
just came out, but when I saw it, I was like, 16.
anything that's like 6 years ago. I'm not watching. I
Okay, fair
can't.
enough. All right, I'll
I
spoil
just
it for
can't.
you.
I can't. Personally, I can't go back. So yeah, you can spoil it.
So
It's
I
free.
liked
Spoiler free.
Future
Spoiler free.
Diary. It did had some of the really stupid tropes that I felt like proliferate a lot of anime, which is like the super fangirls or not fangirl like fan service stuff. I'm not big into. I have seen some anime that were like sidetrack for a second. I have seen some anime that I watched with some of my friends. And I know this was I saw with my friends, okay, but that were like they had good story, but they were super just like tits and ass the whole time. Like, have you ever seen? I'm not going to even expose you. I'm not going to ask if you've seen this. So I had seen this anime called High School DxD, which is basically
everybody keeps telling me to watch it.
don't.
I haven't got to.
I'm gonna repeat
Or B stars.
the
I
same
was
pattern as
like,
it's
I
the
haven't
same
gone
thing every
there.
time. It's got a good story. I watch it for the plot. All right, I
I
haven't seen
watched
it
it
in
for the
years and
plot.
years, but
Listen, man. I like some.
basically,
I like some. What you call it? Some
what?
motion effects.
Jiggle physics?
Jiggle, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's all
I
it
like
is.
some.
I mean,
I
I'll
like
be
some.
honest.
Like,
It's a porn
yeah.
anime. If you're watching this, you're
Man,
watching like
I
porn.
haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you
I,
really want to, it's not like. But the thing is, the story's actually decent. So it's got like
yeah,
a good
no.
story. So it's like, okay, can we just like skip over the her tits keep falling out part? Like, is that the biggest? Obviously that's the biggest deal apparently right now. But when it doesn't take it serious, or it doesn't take itself seriously at times, where it's like, okay, if you're gonna be like an anime that has a good story, but like keeps showing like anime boobs, obviously you're gonna have to take some privileges to the story, you know. So it's like, for instance, there was a time where they're counting down from 5, and he's like, the main character is doing like exposition, and it's definitely going more than 5 seconds. And so instead of being like, oh, and he got away with it at the last second, they were like, no, 5 minutes or 5 seconds were up, and that's like, okay, that's a lot more satisfying than like living in the super fake world where like anything goes all the time, constantly. So it's like, okay, accountability in an anime about like busty women. Yeah, okay, sure. I guess I'll keep watching.
I guess I keep.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like for me, that's kind of like that's
Us guys are funny.
What?
No, just saying in general, us guys are funny. When it comes to like stuff like this, it's like, bro, it's fine. Like we all like, some motion effects.
Yeah. It's okay now and then.
It's just gonna keep as this.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I got to get back to your question. But yeah, saddest ending. That was bad. Like,
I don't have a.
or
Actually, no.
maybe just
But
worst ending in anime. Maybe the question is too nuanced. Just
worse ending anime. This is what I was saying earlier. Like season 2 should never existed. Like season 1 was such a great anime, and they dropped the ball so hard on season 2 and make it seem like the animation never existed. Promise Neverland. Promise Neverland was just
Promise
terrible.
Neverland. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Promise. I wish I could recommend an anime, but I cannot.
Damn.
It was just terrible. Like season 2 literally ruined the anime itself so bad that if you ask anybody in the community, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, season 1 was fire. There's no such thing as season 2."
They don't even acknowledge you too.
Just no acknowledgement. Like some people say, Sword Art Online is bad. Promise Neverland should never.
Is it like
existed.
the same genre?
No. It's about these orphan kids. They get in prison into these like sectors. They don't know it until like season 2.
Oh,
But
okay.
they get, or not season 2, but towards like the ending of season 1.
I got
They
you.
didn't know, but they're like born, and the kids that has the kids when they get to a certain age, they get eaten by these creatures, but they don't know that.
Oh, okay.
Because the lady that's in the orphan, they're like, okay, you turn like 15. It's time to send you off to like a special school.
Yeah,
because you get requested. Yes, you get requested.
Yeah,
So they go and they get eaten by a monster, and none of the kids know about it besides one. And the only reason why she knows because when the kid was getting sent off, they forgot the teddy bear. So the kid snuck out to then go give the teddy bear to the kid, and then comes to find the monster like decapitated in the head, or I forgot exactly what it was. And like the kid just sees like the other kid that left's body part dismantled in the tube and like being eaten by another monster, and it's horrified. That was like a great introduction
That's pretty
to
cool.
like what the kids are, because they're like 12 and 13, and then now they have to figure out how to
childhood
escape.
trauma puts anybody on, man. That's what I'm saying.
I was like, these are orphan kids. I forgot how old you got to be to like. And the thing is too, like if the kids are more intelligent, the monsters are more desired to have them because of how rare.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like, like
So
I guess the
what makes
taste
season
buds
2
are.
bad then? What's like? How do they fumble so bad?
I heard they
You
left
didn't
so
even
much.
watch it?
No. I did watch it. I heard they left so much out the anime.
Okay.
Or not anime, the manga.
Yeah.
Like what's in the manga is not didn't go through in the anime. And then season 2, they befriended one of the monsters. They come to find out that half the world. I'm spoiling or whatever. They come to find out half the world is split because apparently the government had made a deal with the monsters. So half the world is living like normal humans, but the other half, the government actually gave the aliens kids to feed off of.
They're like cattle.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the kid is just a supply for the aliens to like, continue whatever they're doing, and in exchange, the aliens would give whatever they gave to the humans.
Okay, that's a pretty cool premise.
And then they come to find because the aliens also realize that they need human blood to like even keep living. So so the kids end up forming another alliance because that alliance happened like thousands of years ago.
I got you, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And then apparently everything's kumbaya with the aliens and the humans because the aliens apparently some of the aliens within the society they actually had certain blood that didn't require them to eat humans anymore. Okay. They could just live without having to eat humans. So all they had to do was give that blood out to other people. But the government of that society regulated it because they wanted to continue eating the kids from the farm. Yeah, and I was just like, you guys ruined this because it went like from 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It was like episode 1 to episode 9. You see the kids escaping, trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. Like one of the kids actually betrays the entire group of kids, and then comes back as if like, oh, he was like working undercover with them because of they weren't really bad guys like that, but like they had a truth of a lie. Yeah, and then the last 3 episodes they sped up the entire. Like when I mean sped up, I mean literally so the plan was to escape and find the other side of the world, right?
Yeah.
So between episode 1 and 9, they spent like the entire time in the forest.
Okay.
And all of a sudden they're in a city. All of a sudden they got to this like chamber, at least to the other side. And once they got to the chamber, then they're like, oh yeah, well, the reason why we're doing this is because of this. And then the kid was like, well, if that's the case, then how come we can't just live together in society? And then next thing you know, they're like, well, we can't do that. But then everybody's like, well, the kid's right. Why can't we live? And all of a sudden it just ends. Yeah, all of a sudden it ends with killing the bad guy that was quote unquote the mastermind for years to come because he was not alive, and everybody's just all of a sudden living peacefully, and then it skips to a whole future where like everybody's living in harmony with aliens. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that's a cop out.
It was so bad. I was like, what's going on? And at one point, it started becoming a slideshow of them traveling.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? No, it's terrible. Yeah, this is terrible. Everything got sped up so fast. Everything just got all the lessons that was learned. Like it was just bad. It's just turned bad. It was a great season 1 to just what did I have in store? Yeah, because like I would have figured maybe the one that they befriended might have turned on them because he started having a hunger for humans at one point, but
Yeah.
he was trying to sustain like yeah. So I was like, okay, that would have been an interesting, perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
one of the kids was supposed to get eaten. They were supposed to actually encounter a giant version of the aliens within the forest that they were in, but that never happened. Uh, and then the whole slideshow situation because it was supposed to show that one of the kids' ups and downs of being a leader at the age of 13, trying to
It just
handle
doesn't
a
seem like.
situation like that. They have no comprehension. They don't even know anything about the outside world.
Yeah, it definitely seems rushed, but it seems like there's information that
Yeah.
was like so critical that was like if it was
Like,
really just it took one person to be like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" It's like how did it take some like basically some forest child to weed through this entire wicket of like trees and whatnot and say, "Hey, you guys should do this." And they're like, "Oh, you're the first
I,
person to ever say that." And it's like, and then everybody got along. Like that doesn't seem like, yeah, I can agree. That doesn't seem like a good ending, and especially if they're cutting out stuff and it was rushed.
yeah. And
But
then
yeah,
and the one thing I'm sorry, but one thing
no, no.
I did enjoy was like when you think about it from a perspective, and this is why I'm like season 2. I don't know what happened. Imagine being 12 years old or 13 years old, and you have to lead a group of kids, and I'm talking about a group of kids that like start from the ages of 3 all the way up to your age.
It's like Lord of the Flies type shit.
It's like you got 7 of them. You gotta help out. You find out there's other camps that you gotta help out with all them other kids, and it's like what type of intelligence and mindset
Yeah,
can you have when you don't know nothing about technology? Because technology was there, but it was never supplied as they grew up. They were just like paperwork, go to sleep, play hide and go seek in the little forest, and then take a couple tests to see, the level of intelligence to
yeah, to be
then,
appetizing.
be
Yeah,
shipped out. Yeah, but you know nothing about technology. So now when you come across a radio, you got to figure out how to work it. Do you
yeah,
even know
that's
how the system
yeah.
runs? And I'm like, the mindset was like, oh my god, like how would you survive in this type of like
Yeah, it doesn't line up.
situation?
And that's why I
Yeah,
could
that
see
season 2
where
was running
it's
up.
like the intelligence of a show is definitely the Uh, I mean, I keep saying the exact same thing with Death Note, but with Death Note, it's like I felt to a certain extent like so much of it was like, obviously it's a magic notebook, but everything else was grounded in reality. It's not like they did anything that was so, crazy that they couldn't justify at the very least, like, oh, human condition or this or that. But when it's just like, oh, and this person made this one decision and it changed everything, it's like, do they even know how to do that? It's like, yeah, yeah. But the entire story you've told us so far has nowhere in this story is it even like they live in a fostering environment to learn this technology. Like, how do they just do this?
Yeah,
It's
it's like
it's definitely a
okay.
cop out. That's a I,
And then another
you're
sad
good.
anime was, and I told you to watch it, but like I said, I don't recommend it. Do you mind me spoiling
Go
it
for it. No,
for?
it's fine.
All right, cool.
Sometimes they're better if you know the
Plat-
ends of them.
Platinum's End.
Yeah, you said
Oh
it was a
my god.
terrible ending, so I gotta know.
Yeah. So uh, to pretty much like set the stage,
Yeah.
there's angels that come to Earth every couple centuries or so, whatever it should be.
Okay.
So they come to Earth. Everybody like around you, they don't see those angels. Only
Okay.
you see the angel, and the only reason why the angel even came because if you're most likely to not most likely, but if you do like attempt suicide, they save you, but only save
Okay.
selected people that could potentially be a god candidate. So all of
Oh,
this is to
interesting.
become a god,
Yeah.
and it's like okay, this is dope because now it's like you have an angel with you that nobody else can see besides you. And depending on the angel, because each angel has a ranking system,
Mm-hmm.
you can either get wings and arrows, or just arrows. And there's 2 different types of arrows. There's a white arrow and a red arrow. White arrow, you can make people fall in love with you, and a
Okay.
red arrow can instantly kill somebody.
A regular arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, but the arrows are invisible.
Okay, I got you.
So
Oh,
you,
okay.
so
So,
like, yeah, like people can't see any of that. They can't see the wings. They can't see the white arrows. They can't see the red arrows. Now the caveat is, if you run into another candidate, you can see that angel and their arrows.
Okay, so it's very similar to like the Shinigami and like Death Note then.
Yeah, that's what I was saying that you will enjoy based off of that.
Yeah.
But like the goal is too is you have an option of either waiting to either showcase or show proof that you're the right God candidate, because I believe it's last man standing.
Oh, okay, that's kind of interesting then.
So like you're roaming around not knowing who's who, and you can be instantly killed at any given point.
Yeah, that's cool
Because you're still human. Like you're not invincible to like a weapon or a gun or anything. You're still human. You just have a few extra powers, and your candidate can tell you stuff, but they can't tell you everything.
So very similar to like the Shinigami then. So what went so south then for it to not have a good ending? Like it seems like a pretty easy premise. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
So to speed everything up, after a couple fights and discussions and that they had back and forth, so the world's smartest man, as a become a God candidate, because he wants to discover if God even exists or not.
These angels giving me arrows no one can see. Is there really a God?
Exactly. Because apparently, like, you can shoot the arrows at anybody you want.
Right, but like the evidence that like, you have the arrows from the angels and
nobody can see. So the police were like, oh, somebody just randomly died out of nowhere, or you can have somebody fall in love with you for the next like 24 or 48 hours, and then it wears off, and then you got to shoot them again.
That's some Bill Cosby type arrow.
And then at some point, they all gather together because they try to have a peace treaty. So like, all right, if we want to select the God candidate, let's just do it in conversation versus trying to kill each other or pick each other off.
That's cool. Do they like form a society and like a bunch of people that are like candidates, kind of like
people were nervous that they might end up trying to kill everybody in the spot. People assumed that nobody was able to be trusted, so on and so forth. And the angels actually pre-select, not pre-select, but they select their own people that they want to believe to become God.
Oh, so it's not.
So they have their own, they have their own will. Like they choose, like, okay, I want this person to become a God candidate, even though they're about to commit suicide, so forth, because they've been watching that person ever since birth. But they don't tell them all the information because they need to know if they're going to actually be a God candidate or not, or based on what their choices. What are they planning on doing with that information? Like some people want to actually burn the world. Some people want to become God and enslave humanity. Some want to actually let humanity become, continue what it is. Some people want people to be overall happy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, I get
the main character, so there's a kid that becomes a part of this situation. He's like an emo kid. He's like, yo, fuck the world. I don't give a fuck about this whole God situation. Like the world is demonic, it's evil, et cetera, et cetera.
2012.
Yeah. And then the main character convinces them to like, yo, just come hang out with us. The world's not as bad as it seems. And they end up convincing the kids. So the kids like convinced, like, you know what, the world's not that bad. I won't kill myself or anything of that nature. And then it becomes this like, okay, the smartest man in the world confronts the kid and people, and he's just like, well, how do I know, and what do I know, and what not? Like, I rather experience this and that for myself. So all this to say, the kid they end up selecting the kid to become God candidate. It wasn't even the main character.
So that's like another cop.
Yeah, they end up selecting the kid to become the main. May want to become God candidate.
Thank you for saving me the time.
So then the kid, this is not even the bad part. This is not the bad part.
All right, yeah.
What I'm about to say is becoming the bad part, but everything I said prior was not the bad part.
All right, yeah.
So because everything else, I'm like, okay, everything makes sense. They want to live a peaceful life, so the kid, I'm like, all right, we here, like it's a cool. I just want to see how this was gonna end. Like, what was gonna transpire? What way was gonna transpire? So the kid. So now the kid goes up to heaven with the angels that survives. Because you can kill the angels too.
Yeah. Okay.
And once you kill the angel, the person that has the candidate no longer becomes a God candidate. Because the angels don't kill each other.
Oh,
They
okay,
don't
interesting.
like
Yeah,
the
that's
person
very
can kill
interesting.
the angel or the person. Either or. If the person kills the person, their body becomes a corpse that the angel sends up to heaven. If the person kills the angel, then that person also perishes as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is there like
So yeah,
punishment for killing the angel though?
no.
Oh, then you should always kill the angel then.
Well, it's a little more difficult than that.
Oh,
But
okay.
the thing is, the angel doesn't do anything besides provide guidance. They're
Yeah, I
not
mean,
fighting,
yeah.
but they have no involvement. They're not the only thing they do. If anything, they save their. That's another thing. If the angel happens to save or do anything outside of the rules that they have established with themselves, the
Yeah.
angels do perish.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So,
So they can't get too involved. They have to let the humans figure out whatever they need to figure out to become God candidate.
hmm. That's
They can't get too
it's
involved. They're going.
interesting. It seems not like super
That's what
convoluted.
it's.
Like there just seems to
Yeah,
be
that's what I'm
rules in
saying.
place. It's
That's
not
what I'm
like a
saying. It's
crazy.
like far as the intellect wise, it's really good. That's why I'm like I would recommend it for you for somebody like Tokyo Ghoul and Death Note.
I mean,
But
I
like the
like
ending just
Tokyo
ruins.
Ghoul when it like was out. It's not like I liked it a lot when I was younger. I haven't seen it in years and years and years. I
What's
like
that?
basically
Don
for me,
would
I
be your
didn't
favorite for
necessarily
you.
get to say this earlier, but for me, the top three, like what qualifies a good anime, if it has
Hmm?
like the, I guess intelligence is like a good word for it. I put story. Like if it's got a good story and it's got trash animation,
Yeah,
I can watch it. If it's got a like
same
really good
here.
animation but terrible story, I'd rather not. An example of that.
Up and down.
Wait, I can't really think of any anime that's got like really good animation but terrible story. Like some of the sports
Well,
animes, I can't stand sports animes. I'm sorry.
the
I'm
only one I can watch is Blue Lock. The only one I can watch is Blue Lock,
Is that the
and
soccer?
I
Didn't
just
they change the
it's
animation
soccer.
though? Yeah, isn't that the?
They don't. I don't want to talk about it
I thought so. I thought so. I thought that was the.
because season two ending was fire. Whatever happened in the beginning stage of season two was just not to be talked
I'd
about.
seen some things on
I don't
TikTok.
know what.
The forbidden app soon. Oh, the banned app soon. But I'd
Yeah,
seen some stuff that was like just the slideshows of like the ball whizzing around and you know
yeah,
2D
that was
models not changing
terrible.
shape at all. It's like yeah.
I would still recommend watching season two for the sake of the ending of season two because
All
season two
right.
ending was fire. I'm so hyped. I just kind of wish it was like spread out throughout the entire season two because I'm a huge fan of Blue Lock. Um, egotistical mindset. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, Platinum and the kid becomes a god, but then he comes to find out that he's not necessarily in control. What's
Oh.
really going on is God become ends up merging with the kid over time, but it
Oh,
takes a couple years.
I can see why people didn't like it then because if it's one kind of like a filler character to throw in there because I don't know that seems like the first cop out. But then if it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, that's like the what am I watching this for? If it like if
Well,
people
hold on. Let me get to it
oh that's not
because
even it.
no, because like
What's the rug
because the
pull? What's the
kid
rug pull?
because the kid was merging with God, but then he was like having a conversation with God, like, "Oh, why is this and why that?" And they
Yeah.
were like saying, like, "Oh, the reason why God is in the state that He's in is because there's less people around the world that believe God even exists." And that's another thing too. Once you become a God candidate, the people that get involved as a God candidate, if they haven't died, their memories are erased.
Oh shit. Okay.
So they have no recollection of becoming God candidates. They anything that transpired throughout the days, months, or years that has anything to do with God like candidate or candidates, they have no recollection of. No shooting nobody, no killing nobody, none of that. And that goes for every single person on the planet that even witnessed anything God like ability. They have no recollection.
That's clean, I guess. To like clean things
Yeah,
up.
still not the worst part.
What's the worst part?
So the worst part is when in the middle of the merging with the guy, I think there was like 80% mergence, and the
Yeah.
only thing left was like the kid's conscious,
Sure.
and he was like, "Well, if the problem is God Himself, then why not just kill God?" And then the guy was like, "Well, if you do that, everybody on the planet, everybody that known existence disappears." So then the
Mhm.
kid thinks about it for a second. He's like, "Ideally, it's not a bad idea," and he ends up killing himself. which killed the god.
But that's like
Then
the whole
exactly.
thing. Oh my
Then
god.
all the angels start dropping from heaven, and then everybody on the planet Earth just start disappearing one by one, and then next thing you know, it just ends. Like what the fuck does
That's
this to me?
ass. That's ass.
I was pissed.
That's hot
I
ass.
was so pissed. I was like, ain't no way you end like that.
Imagine that's your
All
favorite
this,
show. That's your favorite show
all this,
ever.
it was up. I'm not gonna say it was there, but it was definitely up there in like a good anime. All that suspense, all that battling,
And then
like,
everyone died.
like one of the people that was there, he was suffering from cancer on a deathbed, and you see the mother and the daughter crying over his deathbed for him, and he had the ability to become God candidate and save people from cancer. And all. You had that, then you had some other guy that wanted to save like his dead daughter or his dead sister that he cherished so much. Then you had someone all that for this kid to eradicate everybody.
You know what that kind of feels like? Do you
Oh,
ever
right.
watch? I'm right there with that. Like that's just some bullshit. Like that is not. That's such a nonsense.
Why?
That's like you're better off never ever watching that show. Like
that's why. Yeah, that's why I was like, it's good, but that ending ruined. Like it just should have never went down that way. I don't know how it should have went down, but just not that way. That was just a terrible write off.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure. Have you ever seen any of the Fate Stay Nights or the Fate Stay Day or whatever they are?
I did, and I cannot watch. That's why you were asking me. What would be some good fight animes? Yeah. Fate fight scenes are definitely up there. Yeah, I just can never watch Fate.
Yeah, Fate's actually.
I can't watch Fate. I watched one season. To come to find out, there's a Pacific Order that's not even in order.
No, yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
It's kind of frustrating.
I'm good. I'm not gonna put myself through that.
At times, I think it's just Fate series because they're like Fate this and that or whatever. So
yeah,
6 of them at this point or more probably.
There's a lot because there's like not spin-offs, but there's like one that actually have a series storyline. That's one of them I got hooked on, which doesn't really apply to the overall Fate series, but has Fate series like situations because they actually use the characters that are from previous Fate. Like one of them was like a trading card aspect. Another one was like they can transform, like utilizing the weapons of, but it had nothing to do with. I'm like, all right, this is too much.
I think they do a good job with like the character development, and obviously people watch it because it's like a series, and you see like. But the thing for me,
I'm saying it's great. It's just too confusing. That's all it is.
Yes, that exactly. They set up rules for themselves, and then they break the rules like that's part of the story. Like there's a character in one of them who literally her like rule or whatever her power is called Rule Breaker, and so it allows her to like break the rules, and so like it's whatever they're called, like a hero or whatever they're called. It's like this girl gets to take other people's companions, so it's like what? Like that's just like how do you not just like win immediately? Like isn't that the whole point? Like get everybody on one team, and then it doesn't matter if they're alive or not. If they kill their companions, you win the Holy Grail War. It's like okay, she just did that, so it's like how does she not win? Oh, because the main characters are really like. It's like no. You set up the rules for yourself. You even created a character that broke those specific rules, but then that's like not satisfactory enough. It's like nah, that's not. You can change things. You can have you didn't expect this behind door number 6 or whatever. But if you set up things for your show and then it's like there's a clear contradiction, you can't just be like, oh, no, this time it's different. Well, why? I'm not invested. So there's been a couple times where it's like trying to watch, and they have a million different ones, but it's like the powers and the rules. It's just not consistent enough to be concise to say that like I can count on this happening like every time. So that's one of the animes like I like it. The story is not as good as the animation, and even like some of the other series that they had where they didn't have good animation, that's trash tier. But with I forget, and again they're all called like the same damn thing, so I can't say exactly.
Magical Girl was part of it. I actually did like Magical Girl, and I kind of low-key hate to admit that, but I did like Magical Girl.
Like not Exuberance, Excalibur. It was like
King I believe.
The blonde girl. The one that wore red with the like black hair.
I can't fully remember because there was a few of them. It was like, oh, they're talking about being a magical girl or magical power. And I was like, okay. And there's like, I think there's two separate ones, but they're all like, not say tied together, but they have similar properties because they're part face series. And they talk about, I'm like, dude, it's cool, but like, it's just so confusing to like figure out, does this even correlate to, this or does it not? And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I
Have you
think.
ever, and maybe you have, but have you ever been watching a series which you thought was like the first iteration of it, and then it's like referencing something else, and you're like, whoa, 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 where is this? Like, is this an entirely different show? And then you go and you look, and you're like, this is a spin-off, or this is like a sequel. For me,
It was two. I just don't know which ones it were, but it was definitely two.
There was this one show where it was called, I think it was called Aquarian Evolve, or something like that, which is like a mecha anime. My buddy liked it, he got me into it. Super corny. It wasn't that great, honestly. Sometimes with the mecha anime, they get too wrapped up in like the actual theatrics and not like the story. It's like, oh, and then the giant anime mecha turned into an even larger mecha anime and a thing. And it's like, okay, great. Couldn't see that coming. But I was watching this show and they kept referencing or having like flashbacks of something else, and I'm like, when are they going to show this? And I found out that there was a show before that was like a completely different plot, completely different story. All the characters that were in that show are either dead or transformed into like animals or like spirit consciousness. It's like, what? Like, why even bring... But the thing is, like, the show ended just like, okay, they won, saved the day, yada, yada. But it's like, even after I like went and saw the original show, it had nothing to do with it. So it's like, why even incorporate that in the new show if it has nothing to do with it? So it's like, just needlessly complicated. I wasn't sure if you had ever gotten into an anime and been like, wait, this is not the first, like episode, or this is not the first thing of it.
No, I have. I just don't remember the two anime that I'm aware of that was like that.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I watched a whole season that had nothing to do with. I'm like, crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely one for me. I mean, maybe I remember it mostly because it wasn't like a great show. It wasn't like it wasn't that great. Sorry if there's any. I'm pretty sure it was called Aquarian Evolve because it was love backwards. It was the corniest, the cheesiest ending ever. It was literally the thing that they were all like fighting. They literally defeated it with the power of love. And it's like, get this trash out of my face. Get this out of my face.
I do like some corny anime. I ain't gonna lie.
Sometimes
that's one thing I will admit.
Do not preach this super, like, in-depth and nuanced show with dark and graphic scenes and genocide and themes of like slavery and like apocalyptic settings of oppression, and then all of a sudden be like, and through the power of love. It's like, yo, what? The premise of the show was basically like Mars was like it was way far in the future where Mars is a civilized world, and they were kidnapping women from the Earth and bringing them back to Mars, and we didn't know why the whole show. The end of the show, you find out it's because any woman that gets brought to Mars becomes a man. Like they're genetically turned into a man just by being on Mars. I guess that's the thing. Like they don't do it on purpose; it just happens. So it's like, okay. And so, like, the government of Mars that they're, like, they're fighting it with, like, this robot that's powered by love. And it's like, that was not in the show ever. Like, all these other battles, they defeated all these other people. Not a single time where they're like, oh, all 10 of us, all 15 of us need to all love in our own special color. I'm light green. I'm dark green. I'm blue. It's like, that's such a cheesy, ruined ending to a show. So, I don't even remember what my question was necessarily, but that was, for me, that's probably one of the worst endings to a show. Was just like, through the power of friendship, but not a single time throughout the entire show did I see that nor expect that to be the ending. So,
I will say to piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm losing my train of thought right now.
No, you're good, man.
What was it? It was, I do like corny anime. It's so weird because it's like, I'll watch, and I want to say every anime I've watched, like, all the way to the end was corny, but I will watch corny anime all the way up to the end. Never recommend it. And anime that's like decent never goes beyond like 3-4 episodes.
Oh wow, really?
I just don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I never. Like, if it's a decent anime, I'll never go 3 or 4 episodes. It has to be better than decent. But if it's like corny, it's like yeah. It's like I'll watch the entire like season and might end up watching season 2 and be like, why am I here? And I was like, I can't recommend this to nobody. But I'm here at season 3 right now. I'm just watching it. Like, I know it's corny.
That's
why
what did I already say today? If you like something, man, I encourage people, if they like something, to, if it's not hurting anybody, to keep going.
I mean, it's just, that's weird though, because it's like, it's bad, because I would never recommend it to nobody. Like, I would never say, be like, oh, this is an anime to watch. Like, I just kind of got roped into like the stories to somewhat, but then the story is like there but not there. It's like a hit or miss.
Yeah, damn all.
And then like,
keep it on.
Yeah.
Whoever plays next, it's just be mad interesting. I can when you get to a show that's like, yeah, I like this, but I'm not telling people that I watch this.
Well, it's different because it's not like I like it where it's like, oh, I want to keep this a hidden gem. It's like, dog, this is really bad. Like this is a terrible anime, but I'm on season 3. Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, why am I still watching it? I'm like, well, I'm here. Like, I'm just gonna tell everybody that I just never watched this. Like,
I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I really do like mature shows. I'm not, like I said in the beginning, I'm not big into like gore or like watching anime people get ripped apart, like for fun. Like, that's not why I watch shows. But if there's not like a healthy amount of like drama or seriousness in a show, then like I just, you know, for me, I don't feel like it's obviously it's like an anime, but it's just like a cartoon at that point. It's like, you know, what do I really need to see this for? Really quick, we got to do an intermission, of course. Every episode, every possible facet, every available outcome of everything I make is brought to you by Socks with John. If you're not familiar already, we'll talk about this in just 2 seconds. TikTok is most likely getting banned. It's almost certain at this point. You can find Socks with John on YouTube, Facebook, Lemon8, which is like it's powered by TikTok. It's basically the same thing, apparently. If I haven't said Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, basically everywhere else, just not TikTok, unfortunately. I'll still make the videos until it actually gets banned. But anyways, as always, brought to you by Socks with John. And we'd also like to introduce our special guest for today and plug his social media as well and everything that he does. Andreas, go ahead and take it away. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey, you can find me, DreasHipHop, literally DreasHipHop.
Hell yeah.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, if it happens to be still around, or Rebirth, or however that happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
X as well, Facebook, pretty much any platform that you can think of, DreasHipHop.
We got them all up on there. I think at the beginning and end of this video, we'll probably have more of your music playing. Whenever I have somebody on, I usually like to play their stuff. I think this would be like the 3rd time, honestly, for you to have your music playing. So good for you, man. But otherwise, you can find all of Andreas's information, his links in the in our description of today's episode.
Yeah. So as far as my photography, there's so much changes. First of all, I realized I can't deal with my client. I can't deal with the clients I currently have no more. I just can't. Not saying all my clients are bad. I have some really great clients.
Yeah.
It's what I started realizing over time from doing photography. I want to be a lot more premium and a luxury photographer. Meaning that I want to like shoot less and be a lot more specific on what we're shooting as far as the mood, as far as is it for a brand, as far as it for business, as far as it for image, anything that's like going further elevate somebody. Like, I'd rather do that than more so like, I don't mind, capturing moments and capturing memories. That's cool. It's for me, it's like, okay, if somebody is expecting, what's a good way of putting it?
You leveled up.
If somebody...
You leveled
up.
I
leveled up.
You worked with people,
up,
you've managed people, you've even had employees on your team that you know that they're of a certain quality and that they can perform in a certain extent, but you know that you're able to do more than that, and so you're made the decision to charge more for your time and do less, or be less available for people, which is totally fine.
So far as the YouTube and the Instagram channel for Art of Frame Photography, I will still post on there, but it will be different. It will be like a primary post. So like, if anything, I'll post the behind the scenes on the YouTube channel, and I'll probably post photos on the Instagram. But far as like talking about photography, far as having one-on-one with the model, or having conversations of what to do in photography, or what I'm aiming for, what could somebody assist with. All that's gonna be on the main DreasHipHop channels.
I got you. That's right. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm really consolidating just for now. It's not gonna be like forever. It's gonna change back later. Something just easier for my channel to grow off of, and it gets it's easier to find me than just find me and then you happen to stumble on that as secondary, or vice versa. Like everything we.
Yeah, I get what you mean. If somebody's gonna find you for your YouTube channel, you want them to see everything you got. You don't want to be like missing out because they're I think that's a great idea to incorporate everything you do into one place for somebody to find it. And I think your channel will definitely grow. If you guys haven't seen, I'm not gonna spoil anything, right? But if you guys haven't seen any of, I'm not gonna call you DreasHipHop. It's not happening. If you've ever seen any of Andreas's photography, he does an incredible job. He's probably one of the best photographers in the area, if I haven't said that already. Certainly in Binghamton, and I've worked with a lot of photographers in the area as well. He does an incredible job. So, shameless promotion to Andreas and all of his extensions in business. He does an incredible job. And I think that's probably a good move, honestly. I mean, becoming a more premier photographer, you can make more money and work less. And who doesn't want to work less and make more,
Yeah, and on top of it too, like I do want to further be creative and further expand on my photography. I realize that still love the clients I have, but there are some clients I'm just like, you guys expect a lot for such a short amount of time, and I'm like, I can't evolve this way.
Yeah,
I gotta switch up things.
And that's a healthy thing to do. I mean, I've been in a lot of different businesses. I mean, with the ice cream, it's general. It's absolutely everybody likes ice cream, so I have to try to appeal to everybody. When I did the fish tank business, we had 20 clients. I think we had 18 clients. We bought the business, I think we had 26. By the time we got into our hands, we had 18. Then over the course of whatever we got, some lost, some. But having less than 20 people on your roster and being like, yeah, these are our people, you can really focus on making their experience the best possible. And it's when you do that, then it's like, okay, maybe our 16 looks like 17, and then 18, 19, 20. Okay, maybe we'll switch it up again. So I think that's a really good idea for you to allow yourself to, in the future, change gears again if need be. Because the idea of photography, I think, is to be very dynamic. I think that's a good characteristic to have for somebody in your specific field. So good on you, man. Good job so far. But yes, absolutely. I'm not sure what's on the screen right now. I might be something crazy. Ooh. Well, look at that. But anyway, yes, of course, you can find Andreas, and all of his links are going to be in our description of this video. Please go check him out. Subscribe to his channel. And if you want to see some really good dancing videos, go to his TikTok. Check that out, too. But speaking of TikTok, we are technically, what's that even mean? But we're both creators on TikTok. I make socks, obviously. I make sock videos, obviously. And Andreas does a couple different things, I think you do dancing videos, and you do, I think sometimes I've seen you post your mixes. Very rarely, though. So with that in mind, how do you think this is going to affect you and your business? Or say, how do you think this is going to affect businesses in general? Because there's some people on TikTok that make a lot of money or make their only money on TikTok.
Well, my thoughts on TikTok is a great platform. I know the reason, or at least as far as I'm aware, I shouldn't say I know. As far as I'm aware, the reason why is because of China not having access to America's data, and America wants the data that China has, accumulated off of. And China's not willing to give that up. And there's other powers and other positions in play because they're targeting TikTok, but then there's another, like, they're really trying to say, hey, we don't want to use China's resources as much. We're actually trying to separate from that. So we're trying to use TikTok as more of a threat, as like, hey, if we don't do something about it, we're gonna do this. So if you can do this, I'm like, y'all playing games.
That's pretty much the situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as far as what will happen once TikTok is removed, or if it happens to get removed, there's going to be a good chance that another platform is going to try to take over TikTok, which I don't see that working too well.
Maybe not
if it's direct. If it's a direct copy of TikTok, I don't see it working so well.
Well,
it has to be like a.
It pretty much is. There's If anybody has checked it out so far, there's two that are pretty popular. One of them is called Lemon 8, which is literally powered by TikTok. I think it's the same company. So TikTok is owned by a company called ByteDance, and ByteDance is a Chinese-owned company. TikTok is actually, I think it's a Singaporean company, or at least their CEO is Singaporean. So basically that's the entire problem is the United States is understanding that China is collecting our data, and it doesn't like that because that's competition. Because if nobody's privy to this so far, one of the biggest emerging businesses in the the technological atmosphere, the technosphere, it sounds like a dumbass to say that, but regardless, is buying and selling of data, because that dictates what trends look like, and everything that has ever been a piece of marketing usually stems from the buying and selling of other people's data. So the problem has become that our country doesn't like it when any other country sells our data except for us. So the problem isn't that China has our data, they already have it. The problem is that it's not getting sold to them by the United States first, or any of our allies first. So when we have basically like a copycat app, like I said, I think there's one which is like straight up, like it's a Chinese app, it's a Red One or something, a Red Shot or something like that, which is pretty much, I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok about how people are like moving like the mass migration, and people are like, oh, I'm learning Mandarin because of the app. Like, okay, yeah, sure, if those are the options. For Lemon 8, it's literally the exact same thing, basically. It's powered by TikTok. I downloaded the app and I logged in with my TikTok credentials. It created an account for me, had all the same stuff, and I was like, TikTok basically 2.0. But the problem for me is that once this happens, and they'll probably end up banning TikTok, which means you can't even download it from the App Store, Apple, Google Play Store. They will not allow it to be downloaded in the United States. But once they do that, it's just censorship, and it's just competition over monopolies that are social media platforms. Because what's to stop them from doing this one more time with Lemon 8 or with a different social media outlet they don't like? So we're in this perpetual problem where it's like they're telling us one thing and it's quite obviously something else. But yeah, basically the United States doesn't like that China is doing what we would do anyway. So how hypocritical is that? But as for creators, I do see a lot of people really struggling from this, and not like a huge degree, like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a recession. No, not to that extent. But I can definitely see a lot of people, one, probably having to go back to like a 9-to-5 job after they've been selling candles or, keychains or whatever on TikTok Shop, or dash cams. For some reason, it's dash cams. But otherwise, there's just going to be something new. And whether people decide to embrace what the new app is, or if they just default to what they've been using already, like Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, unfortunately, the people kind of lost this one. Big government and big corporations once again are taking the W, and the people, us plebeians that are suffering at the bottom, we don't get to enjoy. This is a loss for us. We're taking this L home, burying it in the backyard. This is ours. This is our L now. But with that in mind, as you just said, you're able to, or you're thinking you're probably in the process of consolidating everything onto your YouTube channel. So you probably won't be affected so much by, one less place. It might even make your life a little easier, have one less place to have to worry about posting content.
Well, I would like to be where a lot of people are, or people are growing in. Yeah. Because I'm actually scrolling through the App Store right now, and I see a few top apps where I'm kind of surprised they're even up there on the top charts for free. One being Lemonade.
Yeah.
Number 2 spot.
What's
There's an
your-
app called I can't read it because it's Chinese, Japanese. Third is ChatGTP, which I'm a huge fan of.
I use ChatGPT every day. I really do.
Flip is number 4. You get to watch, create, and shop.
I've not
And
heard of that.
Clapper is number 5. And I'm like, okay,
Clapper bringing up the rear.
I need to download some of these and let's see how this goes.
Are you gonna
At
troubleshoot
least top
for us?
5.
Yo, you should actually make a video of that if you do that. It should be like my experience of downloading all the replacement apps for TikTok. That might actually be a good idea.
Might be. I don't know. I'll think about it because it's getting late, and I'm like,
I mean, yeah, it's like 11 o'clock.
Let me not. Yeah.
Actually, what time is it right now? It is.
Midnight.
It is. It is 12 a.m. I was like, yeah, it's
We've
probably
been
like
talking for a
11
minute. Yeah, and a little push further up.
It's a little late. It's a little late. I mean, this was a good time though. I think you told me 10 o'clock, and I was like, that's gonna be kind of late. I was like, you know what, that'll be fun though. I've been really.
I don't know what happens.
I mean, I still have this happens every winter. I get like itchy or I get jumpy, and I'm like, gosh, I just need to start. I need to get back into business and do whatever. But it's like I don't even expect to open this year, my 2025 season until May. It's still January. It's like I have so much time. So with that in mind, it's like I just gotta, 1, try to make as much money as possible, and 2, just try a bunch of stuff. And once the summer comes, whatever works, I go with. Whatever doesn't, leave behind. But basically what I'm saying is that I'm trying to make a ton of new different types of content to the point like we do food reviews now on the channel, which I just did the 2nd episode with my business partner. That was a lot of fun. And we'll do more of that. If you guys down at Legacy Lounge, we'll do a plug for them as well. Shout out Legacy Lounge.
Shout out to the lounge.
Hell yeah. One of the best lounge in Binghamton, downtown Binghamton, the 607, the entire New York State. But basically, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I want to do a food review for your guys' if Pops is working down there. I'll come down and get some drinks, get some food, something like that. But also anything. I wanted to make like edits. I wanted to do like readings from like excerpts of my book with like intense music behind it, or maybe something cool like that, or anything. Because at this point, I'm doing the things that I wish I did when I was a kid. Like when I was in school. I absolutely wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to be a YouTuber, but it was just not necessarily like an option at that time. You had to get really popular. Like you had to be known for something then. Nowadays you could just do it. If you're committed to it, if you do it well enough, then people are gonna like it, and then you have the ability to then. But we've kind of said a lot of good stuff today. I mean, we really just kind of BS'd about anime for like an hour, and that was great. We could have a
whole discussion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. At the convention, we'll have a panel. We could just ask questions. That'd be really cool. And maybe at some point, in years, in future years, years from now, I suppose, we can maybe have like a special guest or like a voice actor from like an anime to come in and ask him some questions or ask them some questions. That would be kind of cool.
That would be.
But yeah, if anybody has any ideas as well for the convention, or if they want to contribute in any way, please leave a comment. Reach out to me in any other way that you're able to. Andreas, I'm certain he's going to be there, whether he's taking pictures or whether he's riding the mechanical bull, if we have one. Whatever happens, we're there to have a good time. We're not, nothing's 100% set in stone. But hopefully I have some good news for you guys tomorrow. I think this is going to be all for us today. But, anything to leave for the people today? Is there a lasting impression, a final word that you can leave our audience? Something that ever.
One Piece is trash.
Yeah. if I had one thing left to say before I die, One Piece is ass. His final life was expelled with that last breath.
Fight.
It was worth it though.
Two people. Fight. me if you want to, but it's
Yo,
trash.
let's hear it in the comments. Andreas is gonna be posted up all night defending himself in these comments of why One Piece is trash. I haven't seen a One Piece episode since 2004. If it's gotten any better, y'all let me know. I'm not watching that shit either.
I'm weak. It's trash.
That's your last word for us today. Andreas, thank you very much for spending some time with me today and getting a good scope of what the anime scene is like. And obviously, I have a lot of shows that I could be watching, and I'm sure I will at some point. But I'll throw it on the list. Everybody's cursed to do. Throw it on the anime watch list.
I got too much in the backlog to like really go in.
Yeah.
I'm
sure I have a physical list somewhere from when I was in like 10th grade or something. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody who had tuned in, to listen to the In When You're Out podcast. As always, I'm your host, John, here with Andreas today. Thank you all for watching. We will see you again very soon, I'm sure. Adios, mis muchachos, and peace out.
See ya.
Words from the Father created by the Mother, influenced by my sisters, united with my brothers. Equal to my cousins, wisdom from the elders. Counting on my blessings, I write my DNA on his letter.